Good reading habits that start early in life make a huge difference, but only a third of Americans' fourth graders are proficient in reading. That means two-thirds will be struggling to catch up. It's even worse for struggling readers who happen to be among the 16 million American children living in poverty. This is where First Book comes to the rescue. First Book is a nonprofit that connects with book publishers, organizations to provide new free books for children in need. The AFT has become First Book's biggest partner. We have given out close to 2 million books to students since 2011. So why don't I give a shout out to San Antonio? Stand up. You gave away 25,000 books. Let's have a shout out for San Francisco, who gave away 40,000 books. Another shout out for Miami, who gave away 40,000 books. A shout out for New York City, who gave away 30,000 books after Hurricane Sandy, 80,000 books in the Bronx and Queens for the homeless, and in Rochester, stand up, 100,000 books for home libraries to every student. And you know I'm going to take some credit. In Baltimore, my hometown, we gave away 400,000 books with our Baltimore Mayor, Stephen Blake. And all of those who participated in the community event that just passed Thursday, I was there, stand up. We gave out 15,000 books to give back to LA, to the community center, just here. If you have organized or volunteered at a First Book event, stand up. Stand up. Look at that, look at that. Look at AFT at work, solution-driven union. 2 million books is a lot of books. None of us could have been possible without you. Thank you for all that volunteered and worked in those areas. We also need a great partner, and we have that with First Book President and CEO Kyle Glimmer. Kyle has been a corporate attorney, a regular volunteer at the Washington, D.C. Soup Kitchen. She realizes that the kids she was working with had no books to call their own, and that was the start of First Book. And 110 million books later, First Book is going strong. Is Kyle coming up?
Here she is. Thanks. Good morning. How much do I love seeing you guys stand up about the books we have given away together. It takes my breath away. And you know, when I was preparing to stand up here before you, I was trying to figure out how to express that to you. You know, like, what do you say? I mean, it's impossible for me to believe what has happened in just 2 years. And so when I was trying to wrap my head around that, what I did was I turned back and I thought, what can I pull from history to try to make this clearer for myself? And I want to share a couple of nuggets that I pulled out. So in 1896, the Wright brothers started getting serious about airplanes. It took them 7 years to get an airplane that stayed off the ground for something like 3 seconds. And these guys are called the fathers of modern aviation. In about 1800, the first electric light bulb was put together. It was like a piece of glowing wire. And it took 80 years for Thomas Edison to turn that glowing wire into the light bulb that was then marketed to the public. 80 years, guys. That's a long time. And he is called the inventor of the age. Now, we kicked this partnership off with AFT, as you remember, 2 years ago in Detroit. Randy stood up in front of you and invited you to take First Book back to your communities. 2 years, not much time, and look at what we've done. Look at what we've done together. Now, I don't want to take anything away from the Wright brothers, or Thomas Edison. They're okay, But if they deserve these lofty titles, then I think that Randy deserves one too. And Randy needs a title that reflects her rightful position in the pantheon of innovations. And at First Book, we want to humbly suggest, we can work with you on this, Randy, but we have a suggestion, the mother of all game changers. What do you think? The work of this partnership under the leadership of Randy and her terrific, terrific team, it's been an absolute game changer. Together, as you've heard, our partnership has placed more than 2 million brand new books in the hands of children all across the country. You've heard Loretta highlight some of the stunning examples, and there are many more, and all of them have changed their communities. Together, we've elevated educational opportunities for hundreds of thousands of children. Every division of AFT has gotten involved, not just the teachers, but higher ed, school support staff, public employees, healthcare workers, and the list goes on and on. And the best part is that we are just getting started. Now, I want to give you a couple of headlines about what's coming your way. Item number 1, it is at First Book, AFT, and the United Federation of Teachers Teachers Center just received an award of $180,000 from the Astor Fund. That's a nice number, isn't it? That money will be used to launch a wonderfully comprehensive and deeply rooted community-based program. It's going to begin with 9 schools in New York City, and our partnership will not only bring books into the classrooms and support professional development for AFT members, as we always have, but it also allows us to, for the first time ever, measure our actual impact on literacy. The engagement of families, coupled with the creation of home libraries, will reinforce the lessons taught in the classroom, and it's going to strengthen that bond between parents and teachers. And it's all around elevating a kid's reading skills. Now, I know that those 9 schools are going to turn into a national model, and we're coming to your hometown right after that. This is another game changer. Item number 2 is also a great game changer. Based on your feedback, First Book is going to begin offering products in addition to books to help you meet the educational needs of the kids you serve. We heard you loud and clear. We heard you in focus groups, we heard you in surveys, and we responded. We heard that you needed affordable technology like laptops, like tablets, and we're going to make them available. We know that you also need affordable school supplies, and we're going to do that too. And here's a tremendous game changer. We also know that you want low-cost access to cultural experiences, and we're getting there with you. So early this next fall, you're going to see all these things become available on the marketplace. It's right where you go to get books with us already, and it'll be available to anyone who's registered with First Book. Now, we are here and we're celebrating this tremendous success, but we also know that there are millions of kids waiting, and that's what keeps us moving. But it also keeps me having to ask you for favors. So I've got two things I need you guys to do. Two things. One is, I need everybody who serves children in need, everybody, to sign up with First Book. You can do it online. It only takes a few minutes. It's free, but we've got to have you do it. We know that there's been some confusion. You know, some people were thinking that maybe if just one person registered in every school, that would be adequate, and that's not enough. We want everybody in, because everybody in means we have a stronger, more comprehensive, more deeply rooted voice representing you and what you need, and it allows us to go get it for you. So please, please take the time to register. And secondly, if you've already gotten involved with us, first of all, thank you. And secondly, tell us about it. Please come over to the booth, the First Book booth. I think it's called the First Book Zone. And tell us what you've done, and more importantly, tell us what you're going to do. How are you going to take this tremendous energy, this inspiration from this convention back to your hometown and move the needle for the kids who are waiting? And how can we help you? Now, as much as I enjoy making fun of major inventors like the Wright brothers and Thomas Edison, and I do, the truth is that they accomplished what others thought was impossible. And some people will tell us that closing the achievement gap is also impossible. But we know we can do this. We know we can do this. We've seen the needle moving every time we work with the AFT, because we have something that the Wright brothers and Thomas Edison didn't even have. We have you. We have 1.6 million dedicated game changers who are tireless, who are passionate, and who are utterly committed to kids and equal education. No one and nothing can stop us. Thanks so much.
So, and I'm going to ask Donna to come up as we finish this out. So think about this. 2 years ago, we announced both of these programs. First Book, 2 million books. Share My Lesson, with all the clatter and clunk that's in the ed tech space, fastest growing sharing platform. That's because of you. That's because of Kyle. That's because of our partners in Britain. But it's also because of some of our staff that I just want to recognize. I don't know if they're all in, I don't know if they're in the hall or not, but I see a couple of them in the front row. David Sherman, who's actually retired, I think, for the 3rd time, even though we kept on bringing him back, has been absolutely essential to both of these programs. And David, just stand. Stand. And with David is his and our partner in crime, who is like the head of our PSRP division, but has taken First Book on with this kind of gusto. Tom Moran, please stand. And then they may be outside, the amazing Share My Lesson and Ed Issues staff with Heidi Glidden and Marla Uselli Kashup and others. And if you're in the hall right now, please stand as well. Thank you very, 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 very much. Because it does take a village. And so it's just been great. Because Kyle says, when other people say, I don't know, or these are the issues, Kyle just says yes. And that's why we've been trying to figure out how to make sure we have culturally diverse bodies of work for kids. and also how do we help figure out how we get supplies at a lower cost in your hand, and remember, not from Staples. But let me just end this section by just another literacy initiative that we are eager to get underway. In Newark, where we've been fighting back on harmful privatization schemes and on all the things to try to stop Cami Anderson from destroying that school system. We're also working with the new mayor on things that we know will help children who need the most resources. And we have always had these dreams of doing programs in cities like we just did in Rochester of Newark Reads, Rochester Reads. And in Rochester, and I don't know if Adam is here right now, but it was not simply the thousands of books, but on Share My Lesson, there are now lessons for parents about how to help guide student reading during the summer. So we're trying to pull all of this together, and that's what we're doing in Newark as well. The AFT, First Book, the Newark Teachers Union, the new Newark Mayor, Raz Baraka, are all working on a community reading initiative this summer, and so we are pleased that First Book is partnering with us there. And Sister Loretta, there may be a bit of a competition about how many books are going to be distributed in Newark versus how many books were distributed in Baltimore. So, Kyle, thank you so much for everything you do to help proclaim the promise of America. Thank you.